Hey, hello, friends. What's going on? Welcome to the Stokastic.com and BA NFL MLB, one of those strategy shows. We're getting close to the point where I can't keep things straight anymore. MLB strategy show, Tuesday, July 29th. Good slate, questionable pitching. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. You could be staring down the barrel of another Chicago White Sox against lefties thing here. I told you, that's no homer take, man. That's not a homer take. There's something very odd about that White Sox team. But we'll dig into all of it. Good morning to all of you as well. Aaron, Michael, Steven, Antoine, Andy. Chump, get the strap. Won 10K in the mini-max won the 10K mini-max yesterday. Best part, only 10 lineups. Stokastic, by far the best. Thanks, man, and congratulations. Love to see it. Love to hear it. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get into it. We'll have some fun. Fishlow, what's good, brother? How you doing, man? Yeah, come back later. Watch it whenever you want. You know where it'll be. We got a 12-game slate on Tuesday. And I tell you what, it's funny because recently all of my SP2s, like every time I really like an SP2, even the tools like an SP2, they've been great. And the SP1s are the ones that do us dirty. Like Jacob deGrom, I fell asleep. I look at it's like deGrom through the first 3 innings was cruising. 3 scoreless, 1-hit frames with 3 Ks. I was like, all right, solid. Chase Burns gave us 10 Ks against the Dodgers. Didn't matter. And then how about like Friday, right? You had old Zebby go out there with a beautiful start, getting our cheap 7K pitcher. And I forget who the higher price guy was, but he unraveled. Framber was nasty yesterday, though. That Washington team is so much worse against lefties than they are against righties. Something to keep in mind. And the White Sox are so much better against lefties than we give them credit for. We saw that yesterday. I mean, you look at how good this rotation is for the Philadelphia Phillies, but a lot of lefties, right? And then, yesterday, who was it? Sanchez, right? Sanchez goes up. He's only reason he was okay is because the guy pitches 6+ innings every single game. 6 2/3 frames in 88 pitches. Like, even though he gave up 2 home runs in 4 innings, he's still good. But he wasn't good from a fantasy perspective. It was Valdez night. But yeah, now you've got Luzardo, who I don't know what to think about this guy. You look at all of his underlying numbers and everything would suggest that he's just been really unlucky. But I don't know. I'll tell you this much. It scares me today against Minnesota or against Chicago. Steven, FK says Joe Ryan is pitching today. What's FK? You mean DK, or is there an FK that I don't know about? If you're saying it's DK, they have every pitcher from Minnesota listed right now because there's no projected starter. There's nobody listed. So they just have everyone. Shit, they still have Pablo Lopez popping up. But, yeah, it's one of those things. You know what's funny, and we'll get into this. Like, we're going to dive into all of this, start with pitchers. I was thinking about this with the whole White Sox thing and, the uncertainty and really just the whole fact that Jesus Luzardo, despite what I think has been pretty unlucky, still finds a way to get blown up every time runners get on base. Last start, he was amazing through the first, 4 innings. Amazing. And then had a calamitous 5th or 6th or whatever it was, ends up giving up 6 runs in the inning. Can't have that. So what I'm thinking is, do we get some cheap White Sox stacks? Like, this White Sox team has the highest value score of any team on the slate by a mile. And Jesus Luzardo, honestly, he's fragile right now. He's fragile. That's how I see it. Obviously, you're not going to end up getting to a ton of them, but nobody's going to play them anyway. No one's going to touch the White Sox today. So there may be something there. I think there is. Hell, you get like 5% White Sox lineups, you're still going to have 2x the field. I don't think it's the craziest idea in the world, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but Luzardo scares me. Really does. Luzardo scares me. Jenna, any hits on the home run roulette wheel? No. Unfortunately, we did not. No Cal Raleigh. Forget who Josh had. I had Cody Clemens, but we'll bring it back today. Josh will join me at the end of the show. You guys already know the deal. We spin the wheel, and you as well have a shot at getting either a free month or week of The Sims or Portfolio EV, whichever you so choose. You just got to get selected when we do it in a little bit at the end. Make sure to hang around. It's very fun. We'll keep score. And if you as the audience at the end of every 2 weeks is ahead of us, both of us, then we're going to do some big stuff. So make sure to brush up on what we're doing here. But aside from that, I want to get to some pitching. And I forgot to mention earlier, but if you guys don't mind, take a single second to atone for your sins this fine morning. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, goes a long way. I appreciate you for it greatly in advance. And if you're watching or listening after the fact, you know the drill. Atone. Help me feed that algorithm. Leave a comment down below. Whatever you want, but I always appreciate reading them, and I thank you. All right, so anyway, Tyler Glasnow today, I know he's very popular, and maybe this is the spot where some of you guys want to just be like, hey, I'm fading the chalk. I get it. I don't think I'd even fight you on that. The problem I have is that would I get to Luzardo if everybody was afraid of rostering him right now? You're damn right I would. If you told me, Laffy, Luzardo, 12-game slate, and Jesus Luzardo is getting like 8% ownership, I'd say, all right, let's do it. Let's just get overweight here. He struggled, but he's also had some massive spike games. The White Sox have been good against lefties, but at the end of the day, they're still the White Sox, maybe. Let's get to some Luzardo. But I look at this and I see 32% ownership. 32% at $9,500, the second most expensive pitcher on the slate. So what the hell am I supposed to do with that? Honestly, Glasnow is a 30+% K strikeout pitcher. Last time he wasn't. I just mentioned this in the perfect lineup video that'll be out in an hour or so. Right here on the channel, 7-8 minutes long. Make sure to check that out. Get some good info. Maybe win a free week of The Sims. $9,200. The guy in his last start threw 106 pitches. 7 one-run innings, 12 strikeouts, pure dominance against Minnesota. 106 pitches is what I care about, though. So you're telling me that I'm getting 106 pitches out of him. Not that you're getting that every game, obviously, but that it's possible. And that he's 9,200. Also one of the best strikeout pitchers in the league. Yeah, I get it. Plus, Cincinnati, even a Great American, they make for a good matchup. It's not very often you see a guy with the highest top 2 pitcher probability in our top 2 in our top stacks tool by 7%, but then also is top 5 in value. To me, it just makes a lot of sense. I could understand why you guys may want to get away from that, why you may want to go elsewhere. I could see it. Right? I could see it. But, yeah, like C. Lee says, fade that all day long. I guess the big question is, who do you go to? Is it Sonny Gray? Is it Luzardo, who's also getting 30+% ownership? I don't know. I think Glasnow looks pretty good. But again, I understand why you guys would want to get away from that. His K prop is 6.5 with heavy juice to the over, Einsteinium. His outs prop is 16.5 juice to the over. A little lower than I would have thought, but it's really not terrible. Plus, you look at some of these other guys, and it's not exactly like you're seeing these eye-popping numbers there either. You know what I mean? Like everything is within context or relative to the rest of the slate. What does it matter what one guy's numbers are if everybody else is worse? And I'm not saying that's necessarily the case here, but it is true. Are we pulling? I hate when that happens. Sonny Gray is... Really? Is it not popping up? I don't know what's going on here. Either way, 6.5 on glass now. Einsteinium, Gray playing Miami's interesting at 2%. Yeah, I definitely think so too. If Gray's really getting 2%, that seems low. But if he's really, this is the crazy part. Like, look at how concentrated this ownership is. Some of these guys are just getting nothing. Let me update this and see if, is it different than it was? There we go. Okay. So it was off. What's Gray getting now? 14%. All right. So you know what? Let's rerun the Sims here. By the way, I still think Glass now looks fantastic. I'm still, and much less ownership now, 42. Luzardo at 17 makes a lot more sense. So we ran some update since the last time I did this that makes this look a whole lot more reasonable than it was before. The Patrick Corbin against LA at 1%, that was surprising to me. I would have thought we'd be getting more Patrick Corbin. For sure. Einsteinium more palatable at 41%. I think so. I probably would have played him anyway, but depending on what the Sims gave me. Kikuchi, let me make sure that Kikuchi's another one of these guys. Does it not feel like every time we play him, he's not good? But the funny thing is that when you look at him, we actually did roster him a handful of weeks back on this show. I think it was a day slate actually. And he went out and dominated and we got him at low ownership. I remember that vividly because he gave up like 1 or 2 runs he may have only given up 1 in the first. You guys will remember this, but he threw like 30 pitches and I was like, oh God, closed my phone. Didn't even want to look. And then I go back and look at it and he strikes out like 10 batters. So yeah. Steven, I don't mind Soroka. Corbin's price is alarming these days, but he's been better. He's definitely been better. Lee, sign me up for Boyle at that low ownership, unknown workload, but high K upside. Yeah, I don't know about Boyle because he's thrown so few pitchers in his last 2 outings. Not sure how long they let him go here. And you alluded to that. But they sent Taj down, right? They sent Bradley down. I always want to call him Taj Gibson. But yeah, I don't know. When was Boyle start? What, the 60 through 95 pitches, the 11th he threw 60, and then 26 and 39 in his last 2 appearances. I guess it's fine at 6,500. It's not nearly as good as, a 7,500 Burns yesterday because the upside there and the fact that he had thrown 90 plus pitches in 3 straight games, all of that made me a lot more comfortable there. Lee, I know. I'm well aware those weren't like his standard starts. What I'm saying though is, given that his last 2 appearances were in the 20s and 30s, How many pitches do we get out of him today? I don't know. I think they probably won't limit him all that much, but I do worry that it's not going to be, 90 pitches. What's Severino look like, Gerald? He looked great last game. I remember we were force-fed Severino because it was like a 3 or 4 game slate. I have very little interest in getting to Luis Severino today. Don't love this spot at all. Yesterday, that whole game from an offensive standpoint was underwhelming, but it doesn't really matter because this park plays so well for opposing hitters. Seattle outside of T-Mobile has been so good. You look at Severino, and this is not a fluke. Severino's home and road splits are insane, right? Like if you look at his home road splits, they're outrageous. And it makes sense given how friendly this park is played. Like, what's the implied? What's the total today for Seattle? It's got to be towards the top. It is the top, 5.8. Number 1 in top stack probability against Severino. Yeah, probably the highest stack score as well. Yeah, highest stack score by a lot. Yeah, checks out. What do you expect in this spot? The game has a massive total. I mean, even the Athletics are at 5-4. Look at this. The Athletics have the 3rd highest total on the day. So you're talking about a game that, depending on where you look, probably going to have a 10.5, 11 run total. I'm staying far away from pitching in this one. You could definitely look to bats. Yeah, 10.5 total in this game. With no real favorite either. Like the Athletics are minus 106. The Mariners are minus 115 on the money line. So what's that tell you? Both of these spots look great for hitting. Neither look good for pitching. Red Skittles. I would have eaten some bad shrimp for lunch today if I were Severino. Yeah, call out sick. PTO, man. But it's not just home road splits for Severino. This is a park that is going to play really poorly for pitchers. Anyway, let's take a look. Now that I've rerun this, let's see what our pitching looks like in the top or in the exposures. By the way, I didn't finish my thoughts on Kikuchi because that's what I do. Against Texas, who's legitimately a bottom team against lefties everywhere. 2nd highest K rate on their active roster, 29th in WOBA, WRC+, 26th in ISO. I know it's not a good park. 2 starts against Texas this year. One was good for Kikuchi, one wasn't very good. It's still a good matchup. Texas also seems to be the team that every time we roster pitchers against them, despite how bad they are through 4+ months of the season, they always somehow make us pay. But I think Kikuchi still looks really good today at 8K. 5.5K prop, heavy juice to the over, 17.5 outs. Everything looks pretty good at 8K. The one that stands out to me a little bit is Verlander. And I Einstein him as Verlander or Bergert. Preferably neither of these guys. When you talk about like who you want to get to in these price points, Bergert's had, I guess, semi-respectable strikeout stuff recently because he hasn't pitched deep into games. So, if you're looking at his actual K rate over these appearances, it's not bad. But I still don't love the matchup against the Mets. Right? 82 pitches last time out. He has topped at 90, 86, but I mean, man, he has been pretty inefficient. And when he hasn't, he gets yanked early. He hasn't thrown more than 5 innings in a game this season. 7K is not totally unreasonable. 23% K rate isn't crazy. Let's see what his K rate is since he's started games. Let's see here. So 5 innings on the 3rd of June. So June 3rd. And then June 11th. Right? And then he got called back up. Yeah, I don't know. Do what you want with the guy in Burger. Against the Mets at Petco, which is, fine, still doesn't do a lot for me. He has let's see, in those starts, 24% K rate, 12% walk rate. That would, be pretty indicative of why he has struggled to get through some of these games. He's walking a lot of batters, but maybe there's something there. 7K, I guess it's fine. Where do we have him in the tools here? 2% ownership. Value looks okay. 5.8% top 2 pitcher. The Justin Verlander spot is okay. Clearly just a park and matchup thing, because there's very little about Justin Verlander this year that should make us feel confident in anything. Like, even last start, he ended up being okay, but he walked 5 and struck out 3. God, I'm very hesitant to play a guy like Justin Verlander. And maybe that's just wrong. Maybe we should have no problem with it. And, one of the arguments to be made there is that Pittsburgh has a 3.9 total. So, yeah, in that event, with one of the lowest totals on the slate, Justin Verlander is actually going to look quite good. But against righties, 12.5% swing strike rate, 11.4 against lefties, or righties, sorry, and then 12.5 against lefties. That's okay. All right. 350 xWOBA against lefties and righties. I don't love that. 228 x ISO against righties. Again, this is a guy that is, 62 years old. He's had an illustrious career, but his K rate has tailed off dramatically over the last couple of seasons. This is a guy that just in 2022, was it? 28% K rate, 33% in 2020, and then 21.5 in 2023, 18.7, 18.6 this year. I guess by just process of elimination, Justin Verlander's viable today. He's cheap. He's fine. I don't want to get too much of him. Get with the field on a guy like Verlander, I'd be fine. Sonny Gray also seems to look pretty decent here. If we're talking about 14%, don't hate that. Luzardo is probably the guy I get away from. I'm not comfortable with this Luzardo spot. Now, if you guys are, let me know. Let me know. Really, if you're saying, all right, 17% ownership's low enough for me, I can do that against the White Sox, go for it. It's possible Luzardo has like a 7-inning scoreless 7-inning, 10 strikeout game. It's also possible that he cruises through 2 and then gets destroyed and he's out before the 3rd because he's given up 8. There's really no telling. The 10K Max Fried spot, to me, I don't love it. I like Glasnow and Kikuchi more. Like I said, Verlander around the field probably there is okay. Soroka's been good this season. Don't love the matchup. But at 7,600, I think it's a reasonable price point. Quinn Priester's been pretty sick, but at 8,500 against the Cubs, I don't think I'm going to be getting much of him. But he's been good. Credit to Quinn Priester. He's been good. For sure. It's a weird pitching slate. I just don't feel great about anybody. There's nobody that pops off the page as just like, hey, this guy looks great today. Glasnow does, but he's obviously very popular. Kikuchi does, but he's Yusei Kikuchi, and we already know what happens with somebody like that. Lee, you mentioned Joe Boyle. Sure, but I mean, just a ton of question marks in that spot. You're not getting the Severino or Logan Evans in that Sutter Health Field part in Sacramento. I don't want Jonathan Cannon. Jason Alexander against Washington. Can't say I'm a huge fan of that. Again, Washington's not, they're obviously not good against righties, but they're much better. They really are much better. And they make life difficult for them. And Jason Alexander hasn't exactly been, successful at this level. You know who's coming off a great start is Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara. I always hear it pronounced different ways. You guys know who I'm talking about. That's all that matters. Last start was great against San Diego. That was a day game. He outdueled Dylan Cease. Lodolo in that same day game slate absolutely dominated Washington. I didn't have a lot of him, so I did not do well on that slate. I think I had a ton of Strider, and he sucked. Lodolo was unreal. I still think it's going to be tough to get to him today against the Dodgers. The difference between him and Chase Burns is that Burns, and I understandably, Lodolo had that amazing complete game last time out with 8 Ks, but Chase Burns literally is going out there and striking out 10 batters in 3 straight games now. It really shields him from a lot of the potential, negative, the allowing. He gave up 3 runs. It didn't matter. He still had a good game. Aaron, any trade issues to worry about? I don't know. I'm not worrying about that yet. No, we'll worry about it when we get there. Brandjoy, Bailey Falter. I know it's disgusting. Yeah, well, it's funny you'd say that because it's Verlander on the other side in the same park. Falter coming off probably his best performance ever. It's not the craziest thing in the world. Falter's not very good, but he's been, respectable. The problem with a guy like Falter is that he just has 0 strikeout stuff, right? Unless he's just getting called strikeouts and he catches them looking. Aside from that, I mean, this guy's got a 15% K rate on the season, 7.8% K minus BB rate. So you better hope that park contains all of that power. All of it. Right? Because aside from that, it could be an issue. Probably don't get to much Falter. Now I see why Verlander's getting ownership. I clearly see why Kikuchi's getting ownership. Giolito against Minnesota is getting 10.5%. Yeah, that's always fun. Yeah, Lucas Giolito is always a blast. You have 0 clue what you're getting from this guy. You look at him like he'll go out there and throw gems and then get rocked. That means he's viable tonight, especially on a day where Verlander's getting 14%, Soroka against Houston's getting 13%. You guys probably won't like it. Nobody's going to feel comfortable with it, but Giolito has proven that he can go out there and throw absolute gems. Has this been, can you guys think of a more Jekyll and Hyde style pitcher than Giolito this year? Actual question. Like, it's not rhetorical. I want an answer to this because you guys usually can think of guys quickly. I'm not using Luzardo because his first and second half have been like, if you just wanted to say that, then it's Luzardo. But just from start to start, anybody more unpredictable with, just a wider range of outcomes than Giolito? He could give you minus 12 or 35. I actually think Giolito in this spot makes sense. Matty Ice, Dylan Cease. Yeah, but you look at Dylan Cease, he actually hasn't had that many of these like spike games where he's really popped. Gerald, what about Priester? I mentioned him. It's just that he's been really good, but it's a tough spot. Probably don't get there. If you wanted to get away from like the Kikuchi ownership, sure, but nobody's really that popular outside of Tyler Glass now. Nobody's getting that much ownership. But it is amazing. It's astounding to me. You look at Giolito, 4 innings, gets destroyed last time out. 5 1/3, coughs up for another not great game. Game prior, 6 scoreless, 6 Ks. How about before that? 7 2/3, 1 earned, 7 Ks. 7 no earned, 5 Ks. Then 6 innings, 2 earned, 5 Ks. Whatever, that's fine. 6 scoreless with 10 Ks, 35 DraftKings points. 6 scoreless with 4 Ks. And then minus 13, didn't get out of the second. All in all, Lucas Giolito has been better over the last, nearly 2 months than he has been bad. So the big mistake a lot of people made last year with Hunter Brown is they refused to play him after he had that terrible start against Kansas City and one more really bad one that followed shortly thereafter. Didn't look at the fact that he was getting unlucky and then kind of ignored when he was turning a corner. Now he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and we were getting him at like 7,500. I remember grabbing the over on his strikeout prop every week last year because it's sitting at like 4.5, and this guy's incredible. And his price point was so low. So, yeah, maybe I honestly think that we need to consider Giolito at 10%. Love him or hate him doesn't mean much to me. The ceiling is there, and on a slate like this where nobody stands apart from the pack in the mid-range, I mean nobody, not a single soul, Giolito's got to be in the picture. All right, let's take a look at our exposures today. At pitcher, do we have any Giolito? We got 2%. I'd like to add to that a little bit, honestly. I'd like to add to Giolito and bring Verlander down. Honestly, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. No problem with getting a lot of glass now. That's a lot, though. You don't have to play that much if you're running the Sims. You can spread things out a little bit, and that may change throughout the day. I'm going to try and spread exposure out at least a little bit here. Perfectly fine with Glass Now and Kikuchi being my 1 and 2 as far as exposures are concerned, but that is a lot, especially when you have Sonny Gray against Miami, which I think is a very exploitable spot. Giolito at 2%, I don't think he's all that much worse than Verlander. 4.6 total for Minnesota, but yeah, maybe we get the phenomenal game from Giolito instead of the bad one. 3% Alexander, 4% Fried, Soroka at 6%, 15% Luzardo. If it's 15% and I'm with the field, I'm not going to cry about that, but I don't want to be overweight there either. Take a look at our stacks. By the way, before we do, for those of you guys who want to get access to the tools, who want to jump in, who want to become premium subs, use the Sims, the top stack, top pitchers, single lineup sim. For those of you who play a handful of lineups, like to hand build them, we got that too. That'll go a long way for you in building some awesome lineups for sure. If you want to jump in on any of that, just shoot me a DM at Lafayette_D. My handle's right there under my head. Tweet me, say, hey, I was watching the video. All of you guys who have done it, you can even mention in chat that I get right back to you. Can I get that promo code? And I'll give you a code. Do you want a week or a month at a steep discount? I got you. That's all you got to do. Just hit me up, DM me. You know where to find me. Or, of course, if you said, you know what, I would like to do this the simple way or a simpler way, and I would just like to get the Sims for free, well, you can do that too. Expand the description in the video. See where it says get the Sims free with any of our sportsbook partners? Sign up on any of these by clicking claim offer. Any of these sportsbooks or pick'em sites for those of you in non-legal betting states. Click claim offer, sign up, make a deposit. Usually it's a $5 or $10 minimum deposit. I'm telling you, it's the simplest 4-step process to get something that's $130 value for nothing. Then after you place a bet or set a lineup on the pick'em sites, just take a screenshot of your welcome email, your first settled bet, email us at support@stokastic.com with your screenshots. Tell us what you want. Ron will get to you quick. Dude does a great job over there getting all of this stuff worked out every day. If you sign up with one of these, that's a free month. If you're like, hey, you know what? I got $25 laying around. Sign up with 4 of them. That's 4 free months of whatever sports you want. Not to mention you may win your bets. Not to mention you get sign-up offers and bonus bets and match deposits regardless. So it's a triple win here across the board, and you're getting all of the tools that we have for free over at Stokastic. So never tell me the barrier to entry is hard with the Sims tools or anything else. Super easy to get in. Just takes a couple minutes of your time. All right. Anyway, let's get into it. I want to take a look at our stacks here. And then home run roulette comes up immediately after this. For those of you guys unaware, this is how we will do it. Josh Engelman will join me. We will spin the wheel. All different topics. Could be away team. Could be, as we saw yesterday, homered in back-to-back games. And somehow Cal Raleigh was a great spot. I will do spin it. Josh will spin it. And then, of course, one of you guys in the audience will spin it. When you spin it, you'll land on either free week, free month, whatever it may be of the tools or portfolio EV if you're so inclined. And if your home run, if your pick hits, you got it. So a very simple way of doing this, a lot of fun, get you guys involved as well. Not only that, but at the end of the 2 weeks, when we flip this back over, what we're going to do is if the audience, because Josh is tracking it with a point system, if the audience happens to have a higher score than us, then we're going to do something big for everybody. So that's what we've got going on. All right, let's look at our stacks. Josh will be joining me in a moment here to wrap up the show. But first, I want to see where we're at here. Okay. All right. Wow. I did not expect that. Did not expect Milwaukee at 11%. Although I will say, dude, Colin Rea, while he's been okay, this guy has given up a significant amount of power recently. So maybe I shouldn't be too quick to judge. Right? It's not like we're getting a ton. You're looking at, eyeballing this. 16% Milwaukee stacks, 3 through 5 mans. Ray is allowing 1.68 home runs per 9 this year. All right, I can get behind that. Not bad. What's the total on this Brewers team today? 4.7, manageable. Very manageable. Positively leveraged? No, but they're popping. Seattle against Luis Severino, no surprise there. Are we getting any of the Athletics? Not a ton. Kansas City. See, another spot that I would have expected us to get less of this. Not opposed to it. Not opposed. I mean, who do we have? Eric Fede on the mound today? Right? Is he pitching? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So following the trade, he's making a start. I think Eric Fede's actually a decent pitcher. Not decent in the sense that, God, I'd love to get him on my team. But just in the sense that he doesn't often get blown up. But another thing, the home runs have been a real issue with him. He's allowed 8 home runs over his last 5 starts. One of those was at Coors. Another 2 were at St. Louis. It's been hot as shit there. That plays really hitter friendly when those temperatures start to creep up. But all right, I assume Kansas City is at least a decent value here. Yeah, there you go. 4th in value. We're actually getting some Yankees today against Boyle. That's typically never the case. We rarely get the Yanks. Take a look at our individual exposures here as well. This is kind of enlightening usually. Trammell, there you go. That was Josh's guy yesterday. Did not homer. We'll spin the wheel again in a minute. Julio Rodriguez, 21. Yelich, 19. Altuve, 18. So that's 2 Houston in the top 5. Jackson Chourio, 2 Milwaukee, 2 Houston, and a Seattle. Okay, fair enough. Bobby Witt, 33%. We typically always get a lot of Bobby Witt. Mikel Garcia, so Kansas City, Crawford. Anybody that we're getting a ton of? Nobody at 3rd. Altuve, 18. Naylor, 25. Vinny Pasquantino, 11. Shohei Ohtani, 11. Cal Raleigh, 22%. Yanier Diaz. All right. Makes enough sense to me. That's where we're at. Should be a fun slate. You have Live Before Lock coming up tonight as well. Should be Eric Lindquist and Matt Bellman with Greg off for the week. But those guys will lead you into everything you need to know as we get more information. We still don't even have a Minnesota starting pitcher last time I looked. So let me go ahead and bring in my friend Josh Engelman as we go ahead and spin the wheel. I already went over the rules, fella. So here's what we've got. 0 for 3 yesterday. I blanked, you blanked, and so did the audience. And to be fair, we were all pretty short odds homers. Like, we didn't do anything all that crazy, dude.
No, we did not. It didn't go well. Cal Raleigh, no. Cody Clemens, no. Taylor Trammell, no.
Nope.
Let me swap out, get the screen share going here. But yeah, no dice across the board. It was really fun. I came in, like behind the scenes while you were still talking about stacks, and you were like, Eric Fede, not bad. I just got done. Here are all my notes about how I'm taking Kansas City against Eric Fede. Lineup.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that he's the type of dude that goes out there and breaks your heart when you stack against him, despite the fact that he's not. I think he has like a 5+ ERA this year too, but he's also just one of those thorn in my side, the perennial thorns in my side. A lot of home runs he's allowed, though. A lot of home runs.
Yeah, he's been getting absolutely blitzed.
So are we going Kansas City?
527 xFIP this year.
Are we going Kansas City in the perfect lineup then?
We may be doing that. Spoiler alert.
All right.
We
let's
might be
go.
doing that.
Now,
all right,
is this a different wheel?
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Is this a different wheel than it was yesterday?
Every day is different for each one of us every time.
Okay, perfect.
There are 43 different things that can show up on one of these slices, and we only show 12 of them. So there are 31 more that aren't shown for this particular set.
And here's all you guys need to do. Type Dinger into the chat. We are going to have Nightbot randomly select one of you to get entered. You will spin, depending on which one you land on. If it's red, that means we're talking about a month here of the Sims, but you got to get your pick right, or Portfolio EV. Josh and I spin as well. We make our picks. There is some strategy involved. At the end of the week, we'll see what one of us owes each other, assuming one of us wins. And if you guys win at the end of 2 weeks, guess what? We're going to do something big for everybody. So here come the dingers. Was that your spin or my spin? There was no spin.
I've just been clicking reload items, so it's just random. Let me know when you want me to stop, and I'll stop, and this could be yours.
All right, so here's what I want to do. What I want to do is give the chat, because the chat is only going to have, I think what we should do is we should spin the chat first, now that I'm thinking through this. Right? Because then they'll have, because we're only giving them 3 minutes. That will give them time to make their pick while we make ours.
Perfect. Well, we've got everybody locked and loaded. So if you haven't typed Dinger yet, you're going to be shit out of luck. So winner is Amaya's World of Fun.
There's a lot of lurkers around here, right? Like, a lot of people that, and I don't blame anyone that don't typically pop in the chat, but 2 days in a row, a couple of people that I don't typically see in chat. So congratulations to who?
Amaya's World of Fun.
All right, there you go. Spin it for him.
All right, I'm going to do one reload and then a spin. So bang, reload. Okay, only 3 reds. Here's the spin. For Amaya's World of Fun, you got to take somebody that bats between first and third. Now, I think I could help out here a little bit, because we've got the order. So we've got a pretty giant list of potential projected first through third.
And also, just you have the pick of the litter here, whoever you want.
Yes. So Amaya, enjoy your World of Fun. Please select someone that hits first through third to homer. DraftKings odds.
Amaya's World of Fun said, I've been watching for years. My daughter hacked my YouTube. Well, Good stuff, man. Let's do it. All right. You want to go first?
Sure.
All right. So
I
you
can.
got three. Amaya's World of Fun has 3 minutes to pick somebody first through third, and we will log it.
All right, here we go. This will be mine. I'm going to reload right now. Bang. Josh Engelman up for the spin. Got to be in a dome.
Okay. That's a good one.
That feels easy-ish.
How many dome games are there
Ish.
today? Is Milwaukee? Are we in Milwaukee? Yeah, we're in Milwaukee. Houston.
We're about to find out.
Milwaukee, Houston. That's it.
Yeah, only 2 games in the dome.
Yep. Milwaukee.
Washington and Houston, Cubs, Brewers. Okay. That's easy enough.
Now give me a spin.
All right, here we go. Reloading the wheel. That's a lot of red, brother. Oh, I hope you get one that sucks.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Come on, give me double. Make it a parlay. Got to be righty.
Easy. All right, perfect. Righty. I wish I could just go. Just sort by shortest odds.
That's a coward's way to do this.
It is. I'm not going to do that. We'll have some fun. What I will say though is that you've. Oh, okay. Yep. So, Josh, I will make my pick right now, and it's not going to be all that difficult. Let me make sure that Amaya's World of Fun did not. Okay. So we'll get back to that. Righty versus righty. I'm gonna go to Sacramento in this spot against Luis Severino. He's been actually good away from home, but nobody's going to escape the wrath of this park. And Severino has been no different. While he hasn't given up a ton of pop on the season, only 0.93 home runs per 9. Well, that changes a little bit at home. 1.09, but now he's got to go up against guys like Cal Raleigh. And if you're telling me that I have to go righty versus righty in a spot where Seattle has the highest total on the slate in a 10.5 run total game, and also looking at our top stack tool, the highest top stack probability on this slate is still going to be the Seattle Mariners team. Severino's had a couple decent games, but there's simply no way I'm not going to Cal Raleigh here. As the audience did yesterday, I'll go back to him today. DraftKings odds plus 175, but I'll take it.
What a cowardly pick.
It's not though, because it's going to be unusual that we are hitting these picks often, right? So
True.
Why not just try and bank one? It's totally possible that that's like the only one we hit all week. So I'll take some chances, just not today.
Okay. Well, you're going to be a coward about it. I am not going to be a coward about it. Mine's not going to be super easy, but I've got a good one. So Colin Rea pitching for the Cubs today.
Shit. Hold on. Yeah, they're right. Cal's a switch hitter. Cal's a switch hitter.
Oh, yeah, he'll be hitting lefty. Well, there you go. You deserve every bit of this for being a coward. You
got
exactly what you deserve.
I get it. I totally forgot. Clearly he's switch hitter, but I was just thinking that okay, damn. So wait, then I got to back up a second.
You are the worst.
Do you have yours? If you have yours, go for it.
I do. I'll go through it and I'll pick somebody that's actually correct instead of whatever goal you were going with here. Colin Reyes stinks. 232 x ISO allowed to lefties so far this season, 17% K rate. He's getting absolutely blasted by lefties. 380 x WOBA, an 8.5% swinging strike rate. None of this looks good. Now, there is one bit of downside here for me because I want to target a lefty against Colin Rea, given how bad he has been. The unfortunate part of my selection is that I am in the worst possible park for lefty power. American Family Field is dead last in home run park factor for lefties, but I am still going that way. I am adding a little degree of difficulty for myself, and I'm going to a man that has 20 home runs on this season. Christian Yelich will be the selection for me today, coming in at a crisp plus 450. A man's pick, some may say.
I mean, not really. It's fine. 450. It's not like a long shot.
It's, better than you taking Cal Raleigh and being wrong at the same time.
That's a double embarrassment. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you were in here before we started this, but highest exposed stack that we have today was actually 5-man Milwaukee's against Colin Rea. So
okay.
There you go. He's been giving up a lot of power. Yeah,
he sure has.
Man? I'll go. Let me see if I can pick a lefty versus a righty here, just to further along the shame. Let me go Julio. I'll go Julio Rodriguez. I'll move up one in the order. I'll take Julio Rodriguez. Actually, a little bit surprised you're looking at a 425, Josh, plus 425 here against Severino. I can absolutely live with that. So give me Julio Rodriguez. I'll try to absolve myself of shame and go to Julio Rodriguez, who has a dismal 148 ISO against righties this year, but maybe the park can make up for that.
And Amaya's World of Fun in with Vinny Pasquantino plus 380 for somebody that hits first through third. So we've got them all locked down. Wow, back-to-back plus 450s for me. I'm going to be racking up the points when I finally get a dub.
When you finally do. If you do. Unfortunately, I can't use my plus 175 Cal Raleigh. Anyway.
No, we're two picks into this, and you already disregarded the rules.
The worst part is I didn't disregard the rules. I just forgot that Cal Raleigh, obviously we know that Cal Raleigh's a switch. You didn't say anything either. So you know what? I feel like you're just as much to blame as I am.
I'm not the one that hosts the MLB strategy show each morning. You should be more dialed in this, man.
That is fair. That is fair. Anyway, we got Vinny P, we got Julio Rodriguez, and we've got Christian Yelich. What are Vinny P's odds today?
Plus 380.
All right, so this should be good. And that was a green or yellow? That was a green, right, for audience?
Bats 1 through 3 is green.
Okay, which means that a win here gets free week, of course, MLB Sims?
Yep.
Sweet.
Can't beat it. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that.
Absolutely. Have a great day, guys. We will see you back here tonight, live before lock, and I'll see you tomorrow. I hope we have an early slate. We better have an early slate. Anyway, we probably will. I assume we do, and I'll see you back here for a little live before lock action on Wednesday morning. What?
No, we do.
We do. I think it's a big early slate.
There are 9 games before and including 4:10 p.m.
And I think they'll chop off the 4s. So we'll probably have like a 6 or 7 again.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Anyway,
it's
see you guys soon. We'll spin the wheel another day. Bye-bye.